Right then. Well, I'm sure that was a lovely run we just had going on, and now we can have a bit of an interview with the runner. So, Drakodan, I can't remember which, Drakodan, that's it, okay.
Second time lucky, yeah.
Okay, off to a great start here. So, I know you briefly touched on this towards the end, but how do you think the run went?
Yeah, well, this is probably the most interesting run of Sparkster I've ever done at marathon. It's the only marathon run I've done where I was actually fighting against the controller as I was playing. I had a bit of a constant handicap as I was playing, because I was playing on like borrowed hardware. Like, definitely shout-outs to Xander for letting me borrow his hardware. Very much appreciated. I wouldn't have been able to do the run without it. The controller is a bit different to what I'm used to running with, though, because registering straight up inputs was quite difficult there. So I was having to constantly fight against that. It does make some parts of the run very dangerous, but aside from that, the run actually went pretty clean. The RNG that I got was, for the most part, very favourable. And as far as my actual gameplay went, I really didn't make many mistakes. So coming out with I think it was a low 20, while having a lot of various time loss from just controller issues, I definitely will not complain about that. It was a very favourable run overall.
Yeah, because I remembered you mentioning something like that before the run started, but yet it's still, when I was watching it, it didn't seem like anything was really out of the ordinary, so you really made a good effort with there. So, are there any resources out there for anyone who maybe watched that and maybe wants to start learning this game? Anything out there that could help them, perhaps?
There are some sparse resources on speedrun.com. Just speedrun.com/Sparkster it might be. I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's fairly easy to find on speedrun.com though, but the real resource is that the SRCom page links to the community Discord server, where just all the runners hang out. And by all the runners, I mean the handful of us that exist, because it's not exactly a booming speed game. I do wish that more people would pick it up, but there are a couple of people who've picked it up in recent times and gone on to get some really nice times, and everyone who comes into contact with the game seems to really enjoy it and find it a lot of fun. So we're constantly looking for new people to get into the game so we can help out, and we're always grateful to see new faces. So if you're interested in picking up the game and want to learn more about it, definitely check out the community Discord server, and I'm sure we'll help you out.
Definitely, you heard the man. Go play yourself some Sparkster. Maybe it'll be fun.
It will be fun. No, maybe.
Yeah. In fact, talking of that sort of influx of new runners, have there been any interesting changes in the run recently, or since you've started going? Any developments?
Honestly, no, because from what you've seen of the run, it's very representative of what the game is like as a whole, and by that I mean it's all complete, solid movement tech. There's no glitches, there's no skips. It's a very not broken run. Like, the entire Rocket Knight series is remarkably well and solidly coded, so there's really nothing you can do to break the game. It's just playing it incredibly well, and the route has already been set in stone for a very long time. So for at least since I picked up the game, it's just been an exercise in optimization pretty much. You've got the route, and now we're just trying to do it as well as possible. So the time is like coming down in little bits and pieces when people are managing to execute it cleaner, for lack of a better term. But the run is pretty much exactly as you see it, and I highly doubt there's going to be any new discoveries in the game at this point. I say that, and then someone's going to find something huge. That's how it always works.
It always goes that way with speed games, yes. My next question was, are there any interesting or fun glitches, or is it a pretty stable game? But you sort of killed two birds with one stone there.
There's a few glitches that are not helpful. Like, I've discovered a few very minor glitches which are just annoyances and get in the way of your movement, and they don't help the run in any shape, way, or form. So as far as the run is concerned, the answer is no, and you can accidentally trigger some stuff which will just annoy you. So
any interesting or fun glitches there are in fact actively detrimental?
Yeah, they're interesting glitches, but they're not fun glitches.
Well then. So on a more positive note there, what's your favourite part of the run overall? Your favourite strat, favourite segment?
Depending on how long the play session has been, if I'm getting particularly tired, I like the auto-scroller sections where I don't have to do anything. Where I can just rest and take a drink or something. But for just playing through the game, it's really hard to pinpoint any specific spot, because the entire run pretty much has the same feel, where it's just this solid movement and everything progresses at a very fluid pace. So I would say just the entire game in general. It's hard for me to pinpoint a particular favourite stage that I have. If I had to pick a favourite stage, possibly the second stage, the Steelworks, which has a lot of the instant death hazards, but the movement is just so technical, and the route for it is so satisfying to pull off when it all goes smoothly.
Oh, aye. Very much just a case of you just start going and then you don't stop going.
Ideally, yeah.
I do emphasize with the thing about the auto scrollers, though. Sometimes it's nice to just have a nice sort of zen moment in the middle of a run. That's always.
It's quite a stressful run for me, where like after a couple of hours of grinding that, I'm just like, I I really would like to be able to relax, but the game is just very high octane to run.
So yeah, sort of touching on the earlier topic about beginners who maybe want to get into this. Are there any similar runs you'd recommend that people check out, either of this game or of just different games in general? Or
the rest of the series is definitely worth checking out, because I did mention at the start this is part of the Rocket Knight series. You have the original Genesis Rocket Knight Adventures. You have a Genesis version of this game, which is actually an entirely different game. Like, they share a name and that's about it. They are entirely different games. And then you have the 2010 reboot, just called Rocket Knight. They're all fairly fun games in their own right, with their own little quirks that make them individual. I'd say this is one of the harder games in the series. A lot of people seem to start just with Rocket Knight Adventures, and it's a nostalgic game for a lot of people. So I definitely recommend that as an intro point to the series if people are interested.
All right, good to know. And now, sort of, let's talk about you as a beginner. What sort of got you into speedrunning? What speed game? Any particular runners? What got you started?
Speedrunning in general. Honestly, a very long time ago now, I was actually involved more with viewing tool-assisted speedruns rather than RTA speedruns. So I frequented TAS videos long before I was involved with RTA speedrunning, and I actually got to know some of the people that I now know and am friends with in RTA speedrunning through just following their work on TAS videos. I'd say my first involvement with RTA speedrunning with the community as a whole was watching AGDQ 2013. Which a lot of people seem to share the opinion of, and it was after that point in SGDQ 2013 that I really wanted to get involved myself. So I got myself out to AGDQ 14 just as a spectator, met a lot of great people there, got involved with some communities, and it's pretty much all just snowballed from there, where I've just gone from place to place, meeting people, and some games have drawn me in under their own weight, and then for other games, some of the people involved with the communities have drawn me in.
All right then, lovely. Glad to hear it. Always nice to hear a tale of communities coming together, as it were.
It's definitely been the case for me.
So yeah, that's pretty much where we're gonna end. So any final shout-outs or plugs you want to put in before we sort of move on?
For this run in particular, definitely shout-outs to everyone involved in the Discord server that I mentioned. Same goes for the runs that I've previously done in the marathon. I opened with Sonic Adventure 2, did Mega Man Battle Network on the night. Same, the Discord servers should be linked on the SRCon boards. And
can I add that the SRCon board is /Sparkster_SNES, not just Sparkster.
Yeah, you can search Sparkster in the search bar and you'll find it just fine.
Yeah, I noticed when I was looking earlier, the SNES and the Genesis pages are separate.
Yeah, but definitely the main shout-outs just to the communities for the series and the games. Everyone who helps make these games happen and keeps the runs as vibrant as they are. So way too many names to list, but if you join the Discord, you'll definitely see them.
All right, lovely. So thank you very much, Drakodan, for the interview.
Thank you.
And now that that's done, we are going to be very shortly moving over to Sir Edav with the all 4 games any % run of Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo.